Here we go. All right. Sorry, forgot to hit record if you're watching this in 10 years. All right, 5 apples equals $2. And so what do I multiply now by? Go ahead, Cecilia. Yep, I multiply 5 by 3 and I get 15. And then I'm also multiplying 2 by 3 to get $6. So I could get 3 apples for $1.50. I could get, I don't know, but I could also get 15 apples for $6. That's a better deal, isn't it? What if I want to buy 12 apples though? Now what do I do? Uzziah?
Well, no, 1 apple is 50 cents.
1 apple is 50 cents. Let's start with our, but let's start with our multiples of 5. Do I have multiple groups of 5 in that 12? Okay. Yes, I do. So we know 5 apples is $2. Okay. What do you think I'm going to write next up here? 5 apples is $2. Morgan, what do you think would come next? 10 apples is $4. Exactly. How many? I want to get 12. How many left do I need? Rajveer? Yep, I need 2 more apples. So I'm going to use the per apple rate. 1 apple is 50 cents. So 2 more apples is going to cost $1. How much will it cost for all 12 apples? Piper? It would cost $7. Where do you get the $7 from? So 10 apples costs $4. 2 apples costs $1. That's okay. Okay. It would cost $5. Good job. Yeah. So we would pay $5 for 12 apples. Okay. So if we were to use unitary method, flip to the next slide on there. If we were to, like, let's say we're at the grocery store and we see that we can buy 12 or we can buy 5 apples for $10, but we were to use unitary method and we're like, well, we want 12 apples. We could, I don't know, we could use unitary. So if we were to use unitary method, 5 apples is $2. So let's use that rate because it would save us money. 1 apple would be 2/5 of $1. Make sure you guys are copying this down. 12 apples would be 2/5 times 12. So I'd have 24 over, so here's how that would break down. 24 over 5, which would equal 4 4/5, which would equal 480. All right. Maybe you could perform that math and convince King Soopers to sell you those 12 apples for $4.80 instead of $5. But usually that's not how it works. They're like, no, the price break is because you bought 5. If you buy 2 extras, you can't just get the better rate. Which method would you choose? Rajveer? You mean the first one or the unitary? The first one you would? You'd pay the $5 instead of the $4.80. Okay, Kylie? You would not want to pay less money? You would just pay the rate and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. All right, that's fine. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it. Let's think of this in reverse. Our next question is, how many apples can you buy with $8? Well, how many, if I can buy 5 apples for $2, what goes, first of all, let's set up our arrow diagram. What goes on the left and what goes on the right now? I want to know how many apples I can buy with $8. How do I set up my arrow diagram? Morgan? What's that? The dollars on the left. So I know that $2 will buy me 5 apples. Is 8 a multiple of 2? Yep, by how many? What did I multiply to get from 2 to 8? Macy? Yep, I multiplied by 4. So how many apples can I buy with $8, you guys? Tommy, what do you think? Multiply by 4 over here. I've got to multiply by 4 over here. Yeah, I can get 20 apples. Good. How many apples can I buy with $7. All right, well, we've got our dollar amounts in multiples of 2. $7, what's the closest multiple of 2 to 7? What would that be? Oh, come on, you guys, this is like a second grade question. What is the closest multiple of 2 to 7? All right, maybe third. Lucy Cole? Yeah, $6. Okay, good. So really what I have is if I want to know how much I can buy with 7, I have $6 and then I have $1 extra, right? Okay, so $2 buys me 5 apples. That's my first line of work. $6 buys me how many apples, guys? You already figured this out, remember on the first slide? What is it, Declan?
3.
$6 buys me 3 apples?
Yeah.
Buys me more than 3. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, and Declan, I'm going to call on you. It's 15. Okay, good job. I have $1 more left. How many apples can I buy with that last $1? McKinley? 2. I can buy 2 more apples. So now I'm going to use the second rate at 50 cents gives me 1 apple. I can buy 2 apples with $1. How many apples can I buy all together? Come on, guys. I've got 15 and I've got another 2. How many is that? Dorothy? 17 apples all together. Great job. 17 apples with my $7. All right. So a lot of people went out in the hall today for not showing work. So we need to make sure that we are copying down all of these arrow diagrams properly. So I'm going to give you a second and catch up. Make sure you've got everything on this slide on your notes, please. Okay, are we caught up? All right. So if we were to use unitary method on this, we would say $2. See if I have my animations. There we go. $2 buys me 5 apples. So if we use unitary, that means I'm going to take it down to $1. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. $1 buys me 2.5 apples. Yeah, it doesn't, that's only using that first rate, like the 5 apples for $2. So this is if I were to use that rate and use unitary method. But you're going to see that it doesn't give me a possible answer, really. It doesn't give me a good answer. So to go from 1 to 7, I have $7. I'm going to multiply by 7. So I'll multiply 7 times 2.5 as well. 7 times 5 halves equals 35 halves. Equals 17.5 apples. Yeah. Can you buy a half an apple? No. You can't buy a half an apple. So eat half of it and then leave. That's not a good idea. Okay. So you can't buy half an apple. So in this case, did we end up with 17 both times? We did. But we got 17.5 apples out of this deal, which we can't buy. So it's just 17. Michael? I'm sure you do. Okay. Moving right along. Do we all have this caught up on? Okay. When you do these kinds of problems with 2 different rates, you're going to use the method where you combine the rates. All right. We're not going to use unitary. It's not going to give us the right answer. All right. The prices of admission tickets to an observatory are $18 per adult, $12 per child. Find the cost of tickets for 1 adult and 3 children. All right, let's start out by finding the cost of the tickets for the 3 children. Now, what this means, you guys, by the way, is that you want to find the total cost. All right, so we're going to add those together at the end. All right, so 1 child, it costs $12 to get into the observatory tower. We want to solve for 3 children. So what's the price that the children need to pay? Kylie R? Yep, 36 dollars. Now we're not done yet. How many adults are going on this expedition? Owen? One adult, and how much do they cost? Yep. Now what do I need to do? Yes, I need to add 18 and 36. So my total cost for the adult and the children is $54. All right, how about letter B? What's the cost of tickets for 2 adults and 1 child? The answer there. Olive? $48, exactly, good. So you needed to multiply 18 times 2 and then add 12. Okay. So page 134 in your textbook, you're just gonna do numbers 4, C, and D. It's the same word problem, it's just different combinations of adults and children. So on page 134, it's a little confusing. I feel like the way it's worded. The way it's worded is kind of different than what the problem is showing you, isn't it? Because you've got a chart with an empty box, but yet it says find the combination that costs $42. So let's just do both. All right, what's the combination that costs $42? It's right there in your chart. You didn't even really need to do any math for that. Macy? Was it 2 adults and 1 child? Let's see, that would be 18, that would be 36 plus 12. Nope, I don't think so. Go ahead. Yeah, it's 1 adult plus, plus 2 children equal $48, $42. And then in that same question, it had a blank row, 2 adults, 2 children. How much did 2 adults and 2 children cost? Michael? Yep, $60. And then the next question, 4D, said, find the combination that costs $60. So what was the combination that cost $60? Uzziah? Yep, 2 adults. Yep, 2 adults and 2 children equaled $60. Okay, let's move on. All right. The prices, is this, no, that is the same thing. Okay. A taxi, can you guys read this in your notes? Kind of. A taxi company charges the following fare for each trip. For the first mile, they charge $4.90. For every additional 1 mile or what? What does it say? Part thereof. So that means if you go over that extra mile, then you have to pay for another mile. So that's going to cost another $2.60. All right, we want to find the fare for a trip of 1.2 miles. So what are we going to pay for the first mile? What are we going to pay for the first mile, guys? Look at your chart. Lucy Cole. Yep, 1 mile costs $4.90. How much do we have left over in our trip, Rajveer? Yep, and how much is that an extra 0.2 miles going to cost, Rajveer? $2.60. So what do we need to do to find the full fare? Michael? Yes, we're going to add $4.90 and $2.60. Let's do it in our heads, you guys. What's the answer? I mean, if it were me, I'd probably add $5 and $2.50. I'd take that 10 cents from the 60 cents, make it into $2.50 and add it on to the $4.90 and make $5 because that's really easy to do in my head. What's the answer, Dorothy? You got $7.50. Good job. $7.50 is the answer. Okay, do we all have that? Including arrow diagrams? Because I'm looking around and I'm seeing some papers without the work in the arrow diagrams. Make sure you've got those. Okay, find the fare for a trip of 5 miles. All right, what do we start with? It's my first line of work, you guys. Stella, what do you think? Okay, how many miles do I have left to pay for after that first mile, Stella? Yep, and so they're gonna be charged differently, aren't they? So they're charged at $2.60 a mile. Let's see, do you guys have, you already have some text in there, don't you? I don't like the way that's written. Let's do this over on the side. So we've got 1 mile is $4.90. Okay, now we're gonna go to our next rate. 1 mile or part thereof is $2.60. I want to solve for 4 miles. I have 4 more miles, so I'm going to multiply 4 times $2.60. What's that going to equal? Ashlyn G? $10.40. Good job. All right, how do I find out my final answer? Gotta add some things together. What do I add? Macy? Yep, good job. All right, let's just add $10.40 plus 5, that would be $15.40 minus 10 cents because we didn't quite have $5 here, we had $4.90. So what's my final answer? Type Piper? Yeah, $15.30. Okay, Michael?
That's a really cheap.
Well, not, I mean, that's probably pretty close to what like an Uber would cost. Like if you're going like from, one place in Fort Collins to another place in Fort Collins, that's probably pretty close. Okay, it says to find the fare for a trip of 7.5 miles. I can keep that $4.90 per mile, but now I just wanna, how many miles do I have left to pay for at $2.60? If I'm going 7 miles. All right, class, I need hands up. Okay, a lot. Guys, I'm gonna pause this. Do you guys have this on do you guys have number 5 on there?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Okay, you're saying over and above the 4 miles, is that what you're? Okay, yes, we could do it that way. All right, I was thinking we just do another equation with 6 or times 4 or 7 times 4. Okay, so we need to add another. See, what do we pay for? We did 5 miles to start. We need another 2.5 miles. So is that half mile? Or are we gonna pay half of the fare? What are we gonna pay for that half mile, you guys? Yeah, we're gonna pay a full mile. So we really need to multiply another 3 times 260, don't we? So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna do 3 more miles. 260 times 3. And what's that gonna give me? Let's see, let's multiply 26 times 3. 25 times 3 is what, you guys? 25 times 3 is, everybody say it? 75. If I have 26 times 3, that means I have another 3, right? So 78, except I'm working in tenths. I have 26 tenths. So it's going to be not $78, but what? $780? Oh, I hope not. $7.80. So we need to add $7.80 onto that $15.30. Okay, $7.80. And we get 23.10. Is that what you guys got? Good, because that's the right answer. Okay, go ahead and open your textbooks up to page 136 and 137. Do 6A, B, and C. Says water flows from the tap at the following rate for 10 minutes. First 5 minutes, it flows 15 liters per minute. For the next 5 minutes, it flows 10 liters per minute. Find the volume of water flowing from the tap during the first 2 minutes. All right, that's pretty easy to see, right? For the first 2 minutes, we're gonna have the water flowing 15 in 1 minute. It'll flow 15 liters. Why am I setting my arrow diagram up like this? Cecilia? Yeah. But I'm sorry, go ahead. Yep, and we're trying to find liters. Liters is our unknown, so we want liters on the right. So let's see, it says first 2 minutes. That's pretty easy peasy. What was the answer on that one, you guys? 30 liters. Good. That was letter A. Okay, letter B says the last 3 minutes. Which rate should I use? Piper?
Yeah, it says 5 minutes.
No, it says 15 liters per minute for the first 5 liters.
Oh.
So you see that liters per minute, you guys?
Oh.
Okay, well, let's all just change our work. All right, that's all right. So it means this 15 liters per, when you see something like that, a rate, it's per unit of 1. So it's 15 liters per 1 minute. That's what that means. All right, so letter B, the last 3 minutes, that's over here. Which rate do I use on that one? Owen? Yeah, I use the 10 liters per minute. So whoopsies, let's start with the right thing here. 1 minute is 10 liters per minute. And then for 3 minutes, in 3 minutes, 30 liters are going to leak out. How many of us got those two right? Okay, awesome. All right, letter C says the first 6 minutes. Now what? What do I do? Shafiq.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. I do like 5 times.
You did 5 times 15, good. So 5 minutes, I'm just starting with the right thing here because we want to show the rate that we're using, would be 5 times 15, which would be 75. And then what, Shafiq?
Then for 6 minutes, I did 6 times 7.
Okay, but it's only 6 minutes total. So you just multiply. So this right here, this 75 liters, that represents 5 minutes of worth of volume. We've already used up 5 minutes. We just need to add on what the volume is of the water coming out during that 6th minute. Does that make sense? So basically like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. How many more liters are gonna flow in that next minute? Yeah, 10 more liters. So for that 6th minute, we're just adding another 10 liters. Okay, so 75 plus 10, what's my final answer, guys? 85 liters. Okay, awesome job. All right, your homework is workbook exercise 4.